Folks, welcome back to the DNR podcast. I'm your host, Ben the Bane Davis. My co-host, Riley Osborne, is here, and we've got another episode of Season 41, The Challenge Vets and New Threats to Unpack. Riley, before we get into the weeds on it, though, pretty big episode, I'd say, overall.
Yeah, I mean, we finally had some movement. We didn't have the exact same two people going in. I think they had a weighted coin. I think that coin was heavy. I think that was a double-sided coin because
it's been tails all season.
Yeah. If I'm the show's producers, I'm like, we are not sending Theo and Adrienne back in. Like, it has to be mixed up. So it was close, but the coin flip made it happen. Ben, let's talk about it. Obviously, you were right before we started. You seemed itching to talk about some things because this was a pretty good episode. I thought it was at least a change of pace, kind of dynamic, some fun stuff.
Yeah, I think this episode had everything. There was the deception that we've really appreciated over the last couple episodes. There was, in my opinion, a solid daily challenge and a really, really solid elimination. And I think that, there were a couple of reactions from people, specifically Nani, which we'll get into, that I think are kind of stupid. I like Nani a ton, but I thought that she was acting kind of dumb here. But before we get into the daily challenge, there's a few scenes leading up to it that I want to talk about. First off, we get hit right in the face with more Will and Nani action in the gym. And it's just funny to me because it's like, this guy can only think about having sex. It's actually the driving motivation in his brain.
He's got some big time Neanderthal energy.
Yeah.
He's like, his body is like, you must reproduce. And he's like, I will do whatever you say, king. Like, and just
yes,
does.
Testosterone.
Yeah, exactly. This vial of test is incredibly effective at making me.
He's just he's the Green Goblin when it comes to just sex drive,
Yeah.
But it is fun because he says verbatim, he's like, I hate snuggling. And I wish he followed that up with, I hate snuggling. I fuck hard, okay?
That would have been I think that would have been more accurate.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely what he means, I hate 100%. I'm not going to cuddle up with you, bro. I'm going to bang.
I'm going to bang, dude. I'm not hanging around afterwards. I'm not going to hold you. I'm gone.
You're not going to feel loved by me. Okay? That is not how it's going to go. You're not going to feel warm and fuzzy in this deal.
Listen, I don't do relationships. I do my penis inside you, okay? And that's it. We also get a scene of our favorite contestant that's never on the screen. Jake, he's chatting with Leo. They're in the bed together, and Leo opens this line up by like, hey, man, when I was in the shower, I was thinking about you. And I was just like... I don't know. Something about this gay romance, that I could write a Wattpad fan fiction about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, it's just funny because I feel, and this is something I'll mention again later in the episode. But Jake to me seems like a Force ghost in that he just appears out of thin air every now and again, and then he disappears. Group shots,
and then he just exactly he comes in and he says something. He quick. He's like, yeah, you could probably vote for this person.
Yeah,
he's gone again.
Oh,
hey,
you're my boy,
consider
mate.
Voting for Theo? Yeah.
Oh, I don't really like maths, don't I?
And then it's what's her name being like, man, he's really good with tools.
He's really.
I might actually bang him.
He's so young. I think I'm gonna fuck him.
Yeah, literally.
This is Jake and Anissa rotating in the back on the dumbest things. But okay, let's get into the daily challenge. So I forget the name of this one as usual, but there's puzzle pieces that are 6 feet underwater, and in order to unlock them, you have to solve a math equation that is initially got to find your rune, which corresponds to a number, do the simple algebra, and then go unlock it, and then solve this 3D puzzle. It was
not algebra.
It was algebra. Yeah, it's PEMDAS.
Was it?
Yeah, it was multiplication, addition, and subtraction. That's algebra. I think.
I don't believe that's algebra.
You're joking.
Because it was just multiplication, addition, and subtraction. Correct?
That's algebra.
It was simple math.
Uses symbols like variables to represent numbers and quantities. Yeah, this is algebra.
There was no symbols in the math equations. There were symbols to represent the codes or something, but there was no symbols in the math equations. It was like 20 times 20 plus 30 plus 88.
Well,
this isn't super relevant. You can also just call it math. Like, it was definitely math.
A super simple math puzzle.
Yeah.
And before we get into the daily, there's a couple on the fly interviews where Sydney and Turbo are saying, oh, Turbo's a puzzle master. And then Leo's saying, Ashley's a puzzle wizard. And I just don't, like, again, and we've spoken about this at length, and I know that there's been some viewers that have been mad at us because we kind of have disregarded a lot of prior seasons, whether that's us not viewing them or us not really caring about the past. But again, in this season, I just don't think anyone has really established themselves as this extreme puzzle savant. I personally haven't really seen it.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Just straight up no. Like, they just...
So, again, it's just this insistence that, like, oh, I can say something 1,000 times, but if I don't do it, then how true can it really be? And that is entirely proven with both of those teams as this daily goes on with Turbo and Ashley, but we'll get there. So Cedric and Michaela, who have been huge superstars, I would say, in these dailies, blow through it, get the puzzles out. Very easy. I think Turbo and Sydney are second, Nani and Justin third. But then it cuts to Olivia and Will being entirely dysfunctional, of course, as usual. They can't even, like, get the math puzzle done to unlock their puzzle pieces.
Yeah, they were fighting for their life on that one. Didn't look so hot. There was one thing that I'm trying to remember. There was a run where if they got it wrong, they had to run back, correct?
Well, there was a portion of it where you go down. If you can't unlock the little puzzle, or excuse me, the lock, then you need to run back to your math station and kind of,
that seemed like a big enough distance that people were frustrated by that distance, and that they were, like, building fatigue from it, and then kind of being a little flustered.
Well, and also, I mean, plus the elements. Like, this is winter in Chile. At this point in filming, it is fucking cold, and then you tack on that water. Like, you look at a team in, I think, Olivia and Will, who had to go back 3 or 4 different times. Like, that just eats away at you. Clearly, Sydney and Turbo were struggling with that as well. Turbo just standing there in the freezing ass water. Like, I get it. I will say there's a couple things I want to highlight from this daily challenge. Ashley's confessional where she's like, guess who the idiot is today? It's you, Ashley. I don't know. I like how she owned it a little bit. I can really respect how when they film these confessionals, it's a period of time afterwards and you can kind of reframe and revise history. But Ashley has been pretty transparent and honest for a good amount of times in these confessionals, which I can enjoy. And I did like how when Olivia and Will are running by Theo, Olivia's like, here's my last, we just need you to subtract. What is it? And it's a very simple thing. It's like 2,000 something minus 68. And Theo just spitballs a random fucking number. Which
My thing is, math, if you are really, really bad at math, like some people that just never interact with math at all in their daily life.
Yeah.
Like multiplication and subtraction can be difficult for them, And it's not that they couldn't sit down and figure it out, but because they never do it as an adult, they just have no basis to work with. They see like, yep, 88 plus 44, and their brain is just like, oh my God, I could never figure this out. That's what it kind of felt like with him.
Yeah.
But it did. It just felt like he was just kind of like, I don't know how I'm supposed to know this, And it's like, well, you need to take a second and chill if you don't have the right answer, because just being wildly wrong is not helping anybody.
No. And
nobody is helped by that.
Again, it's just funny to me that Olivia and Will are like, yeah, Theo probably got that one. He probably nailed that mental math in 4 seconds as he's running by us. Like, well, like, Olivia, don't you know that he's not maybe the best at math? I don't know. I just, but okay. So there's a pretty big difference between the teams that start finishing and then the teams that are struggling. So Cedric and Michaela win. Michaela locks in her 4th daily victory of the season. Cedric gets his 2nd, both with Michaela. Just really impressive overall. Like, I feel we've said this kind of every single week, but Michaela and Cedric are just firing on all cylinders. They seem to get each other and are incredibly compatible as team members. And Michaela is very, very intelligent and savvy in these daily challenges. That can't be disputed.
Yeah, 100%. They've operated well and they've been consistent. But this one was, for me, I thought it was really going to be important as to who wins as far as safety goes when it came down to that vote. And I found that these two were kind of unimpactful as the winners.
Yeah, well,
I just didn't think that they really, for me, it was like when I'm looking at who's going to be safe here, these two, it didn't seem to matter to me that they were safe. It didn't seem to matter, shake up the vote. It just felt unimpactful that they won. Not that it wasn't dope, like hell yeah, but I just mean I didn't feel like they were at risk of going in. I didn't feel like them being secure shifted any votes because, if Turbo and Sydney are in, or if Theo and Adrienne, now the votes are very shifted up. Things are different right away. But none of that happened. Or Olivia or Will, like any of that, but none of that happened.
Because Cedric and Michaela win, they erase their vote. So by them winning,
Which
did
I find
hurt
really
their
weird,
alliance.
Ben. What do you think about that?
I
actually don't like that. It feels as though it's like a handicap to win now.
Yeah, and we've spoken about this a little bit the last couple weeks, in that the first half of the season you had the performance points, you did have power, whether that was saving a team or nominating them for elimination. And so to kind of reduce the tools that you have as a winner, it deflates the meaning of the victory. And to your point, it's more of a harm than a help to come in first to your broader alliance. Like, yeah, it helps Cedric and Michaela in that they're immune, but they weren't even at risk. And all that they accomplished by winning was taking their vote off the board. And, not to fast forward to the nomination, but like, if they had gotten to the last puzzle piece and waited until someone in the other alliance came in first, and then boom, they come second, set the tone, they've got 4-3, and then boom, it's Theo and Adrienne going in again. But like Cedric and Michaela, and I get this, you got the adrenaline going, it's competition, you might not just remember all the nuances of the game and the social and political side of it when you're in those dailies. I totally get that, but yeah, you kind of step back and you go, oh, we just shot ourselves in the foot by fucking winning.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like they were never on the board to be voted in. They were a critical vote for their team to be able to enact their will. So winning really did nothing here in the positive. It shook up the game, so I'm happy they did. But yeah, that's my one qualm with the season so far, is you got to figure that out. There has to be incentive for winning a challenge more than just being safe and secure. This alliance, it's weird. It's too powerful at this point.
And I don't understand why they've taken away the ability to save a team from nomination or put one up for nomination. I really don't understand why that's been...
double their vote value. Now there's some actual impact in having a team that is able to do this.
And or you can make it even one better, where it's like, hey, the winning team, each of those members in the winning team can vote individually. And so now you can fracture the teams internally, because it's like Olivia and Will might not be voting the same. They win, they vote separately. So yeah, it just feels like, and maybe there's a lot of things we've thought about this season where, hey, this could have been better. There is potential here, and it just hasn't really been realized. So before we run to the night out, the final part of this daily challenge is odd in that, Jake and Denise are really struggling. Olivia and Will are struggling. Leo and Ashley, 50 minutes into this daily challenge, don't have their puzzle pieces. Like, it's just, I don't know. Were you surprised at all by how poorly some people were doing?
Yeah, but yes and no, just in the sense that I find with a lot of these puzzle challenges, if you can't figure it out, you can't figure it out. Yeah. And there's not like this huge in between. So in that regard, I wasn't I wasn't super shocked that they couldn't figure it out, I just mean in the sense of, I felt like this was a challenge where either you're getting blown out of the water or not. Like if you can visualize it better, it's like Gabe when he's up at the top of that hill and he's trying to build the square. He's never. You could leave him up there for 5 hours. He can't figure that out. It's just not. And I feel that way with puzzles all the time. Sometimes I'm looking at puzzles and I'm just like, no, I'm never figuring this out. Or riddles that are just, I hate riddles, but like where it's like, no, this is stupid. But other teams were fine with this, and this was a very puzzle-heavy challenge, so that didn't really shock me that much, that there was going to be a big berth between some of the teams.
But so Leo and Ashley are coming in last. They are going right into the sand. Cedric and Michaela win. They're immune. We take it to the night out, and it was kind of I would say, not as juicy of a night out. There is a scene of Leo where he's basically saying, I don't have a name, I don't have a preference, don't really care, which again is odd because he was so vocal. He was so vocal earlier in the season, had so much to say, and now when it's like, hey, you should probably speak, he's like, I'm good. I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I actually found, I don't know, but what do you think, Ben? I found the strategy again lacking in this episode.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because for me, I just don't understand the positioning that they're taking, like the route they're going with this.
I feel like Theo hatched a plan that had maybe some chance to work, but he locked in on that way too late. If he had maybe thought of this plan to pressure Nany and put her in the cooker in sort of this, hey, you can save him or let this happen, right? If he planted that seed early in the night out, and then as the night out was continuing, kept feeding into it, as the morning of nomination was going, kept feeding into it, like maybe he could have convinced her, but their initial plan of Theo and Adrienne, or excuse me, having Adrienne go threaten Jeremy and Aviv for no reason. I was like, what are we doing, bro?
Her delivery, 0 out of 10 on her delivery. 0 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even remember. I don't have the specific quotes from her written down, but it was something in a realm of like, well, it's got to be you and me, and, I'm not going to scratch your back in the future, and, I won't have a reason to help. And it's like, what? They've thrown you in 3 times.
Pitch it as an alliance. Like, pitch it as anything other than, like, I will fuck you up later. I was like, this is not the move. Like, what are you talking about?
I have it on my notes that as Adrienne is like trying to do this threatening, hey, here's the lay of the land, Jeremy's just fucking mewing at her, bro.
He was mogging this shit out of her. Yeah. Yeah, he literally was. That was so funny.
It wasn't even paying attention, bro. He was not listening to a single word. He just, you're gonna threaten me?
No, you just see him. He's just, no. That's all he has.
You're going in a 4th time.
I'm voting you again.
But it's, and like,
Thanks
I will
for
say,
your contribution. You're back in the sand.
Adrienne, you make such a great, compelling argument. I'll see you in the sand again. And I will say this. I had this thought when I was watching this episode. Jeremy and Aviv have really disappeared in a significant way. Like, I get the whole stay in the background, survive, hide behind the numbers. Totally fair. They have the edge right now. Why rock the boat? But it's a little disappointing in that I feel like Jeremy was somebody who, and we spoke about this so much, but like comes out the gate swinging, has a big target, and as the season's continued, has shown those glimpses of like what made him such a big threat to people in the beginning. But like, he's kind of been gone. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you could make the argument that was strategic, because he did have this, like you just said, huge target on his back. Everybody knew exactly who this guy was. Everybody knew he was a threat, and he has navigated away from that. But he also isn't even in the conversation of people to send up for elimination.
Yeah, which is,
so that could be a good play.
But okay, let's take it to the morning of nomination. There's a conversation in the kitchen that I want to highlight, and it's Sydney talking with, I think Aviv. Aviv was talking about Adrienne's, threatening. And Sydney says a line that I kind of disagree with. And there's a lot of things that annoyed me about her this episode, as usual. But she says it's how desperate Adrienne looks. Like, Adrienne's being so desperate. And in my purview, it's like, yeah, you've thrown them in 3 fucking times. Of course, they are going to start getting a little bit more extreme in their measures and actions to try and avoid going into the sand. Like, I think Adrienne completely botched it and waffled the execution in the night out. But, like, Sydney, you are making them desperate. You know what I mean? Like, you can't shoot someone and be like, why are you screaming? Like, you did that.
Yeah, exactly. Just an example of the strategy simply not unfolding in any meaningfully positive way at all.
Yeah.
Right? Just the whole play was just like, what the hell was that? That I'm starting to be more and more convinced that Theo's strategy is self-sacrificing towards Olivia. And you know what, Ben? I think that's stupid. Because his team has now shown very clearly that they are actually one of the strongest teams here. They might not show that in the actual challenges, but the fact that they can go toe-to-toe with anyone and a seemingly win, going in 3 times and winning 3 times, they're tied unanimously. They are, Adrienne and Theo, they are working well together. They are clearly on the same page. They're a good team. They're working together. And now you have Olivia and Will, who are not at all on the same team, are operating purely for their own independent goals, not really doing much better than Theo and Adrienne in general.
Yeah.
Right? And Theo and Olivia they're the actual team. They're the real team, obviously. They're together. So if one of them wins this, they have a double chance of winning. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if one of them wins the money, they're both going to benefit from that. There has to be a time where he kind of drops this chivalrous act of, protecting his girl. Because the reality is, if you have a stronger team and that's your girl and you have a better chance of winning the money and bringing it back for your family, maybe start having that conversation. I feel like they're not having that conversation because it's just get Olivia as far as possible. But the final's going to come, and she probably isn't going to win it because her team is not aligned.
Yeah.
And she has more chance to rock the boat. Like, why is she not? She could freaking challenge Sydney and be Turbo's partner and completely blow the whole thing up right now.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say,
to do that.
Like, she could stake a claim on Justin, steal Justin, force Nani and Will to be together, and then that's a team with a huge target, Will and Nani. So, and then that would balance out where it's like, okay, Justin, an incredibly strong competitor this season. Justin and Olivia, higher chance in the daily challenges, better. No one wants to vote Justin in as well, exactly. So you have that same shielding. So it's like it would be a little bit easier to understand their positioning in the alliance if Olivia made more moves to bring more to the table and balance that out a little bit. But I will say this, though. To that point, there was a move the morning of nomination that I don't think was Theo falling on a sword for Olivia. It was Theo stirring the pot, which was that aforementioned plan. So he gets this idea in his head that he can there's 3 ways that this can go. Tie it with Turbo, tie it with Yermin Aviv, and then leave it to a coin flip. Or pressure Nani into voting Yermin Aviv and saving Turbo, making Nani think, hey, it's going to be Turbo. And the reason why, for your knowledge, why this would have been a good idea is because Nani and Turbo... Just Gaslighter.
Yeah.
Basically Gaslighter, because Nani and Turbo were partners on All-Star 6, and so they had this really great connection. That was the most recent season that was filmed. And so it's like, hey, he's your number one. You've got so much history with him. He's at risk. He's sick right now. He's on one wheel. You want him going into an elimination? And I really like the way that he framed it, which is, hey, this isn't even for me. this is for you stepping up to the plate and being a better, stronger ally to your number one. Like, hey, I'm just giving you free advice right now. Here's the situation. Here's what's at stake. Do you want him to go home, or do you want to step up and try and play your own game and play your own cards instead of hiding behind everybody else? I thought that was very, very intelligent and had absolutely nothing to do with, like, saving an Olivia or, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. But it just feels like they're trying to enact this strategy, and I think the other players in the game they've cracked the code here. They're not falling for this, you know.
Yeah.
They played the Gabe card already. You know, there was a guy in this house that was just putty in their hands. The current members of the house aren't like that anymore. They're not falling for this shit anymore. They're very much so more aligned. They're very much so more consistent with the direction that they want to go. So in that regard, I'm not seeing them. But I think they have to do something big. That's my thought process. That's
why I wish that Theo had found that plan way earlier. Yeah. Planted that seed at the beginning of the night out, and then had everybody feeding it to Nany and convincing her, oh shit, you know, this actually is the situation. Maybe I do need to.
Nany's smarter than that. That's what I'm saying. I just don't see that working on her.
I think that Nany, especially you can see in this episode, can be pushed to an emotional place without much force. And when you put someone in that lens, maybe they will make a decision in the framework of, like, I need to save my number one. And this is me finally stepping out, making a move on my own, because that's what I need. I think there is a way where it could have worked. But Theo standing up fucking 12 seconds before the nomination and going, yeah, so we're going to be doing this, and you best not do it, you know? That obviously was not the right way to go about this plan.
That pissed me off. I was like when they don't stake the claim, they don't do anything, and then he just stands up and he's like, hello, and it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, it was just immediately Nany's like, shut the fuck up, I hate you so much, you idiot.
Yeah.
Like, it's just this such a strong visceral reaction from her, like, so clearly not just did the polar opposite of what he was ever trying to enact. You know, I was like, what are you doing, bro? Like, this is so yes, convince her in front of the entire house to betray her longtime ally. Like, that's never happening. Now you're just attacking her character, essentially, which is obviously why she had such a visceral reaction. That pissed me off. I was like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like,
yeah, this is not the right way to go about executing that. And it's annoying because it's like he has shown some skill at deception and manipulating a couple episodes ago, and then to do this, you're like, buddy, you know, where was the brain? Backfires.
Paints this fucking huge target on his back. Like, Jesus.
Which, it was already there, you know. I can't blame the guy, but it's just like there are smarter ways to maybe dig you and Adrienne out of a hole, and having her be the one going and chatting on the night out, terrible. Standing up seconds before the nomination trying to do this Hail Mary, terrible. Like, there's better ways to do it. But yeah, so it backfires instantly. Turbo says, let's vote Anissa and Jake, and then Nany chimes in and she says, we can vote your girl in if you want. And again, guess who his girl is attached to, Nany? It's the guy that you've been fucking for the last couple weeks. So I would have loved, after Nany said that, if they cut to Will and he's just like, what do you mean we're going to throw his girl in?
No. Wait.
But so it ties. It's 3-3 between Theo and Adrienne and Sydney and Turbo. TJ then picks up the coin after 2 rounds of this stalemate and flips it. Like we talked about earlier in this episode, it's tails. It's been tails all season. It's tails.
It's an only tails coin. I'm telling you.
I need proof. I need some proof that this coin has a fucking heads on it, because and I think Rogan, when on the first episode, I'm pretty sure that was tails as well, to determine a guy's day or a girl's day. So yeah, it does seem like, okay, this is a little bit
show business after all. It is TV after all.
And I've been defending, I would say, the production a lot, in that a lot of people have come up and been like, oh, are these eliminations like rigged? And do you think that they specifically pick eliminations for specific people? I've been like, no, I don't think so. And my reasons for that are, if there was fixing, then they would not have had Johnny Bananas go against a 6'6" monster in a stylistically terrible matchup.
Very, very true. Very,
right?
very true.
And I think that there's a schedule for the eliminations, and Nia and America going down there, Nia being DQ'd, fucked up the schedule, and that's just how it's been. I don't think there's been rigging, but I do think this fucking coin is a little stupid. Okay, so let's see. So it's tails that determines that Sydney and Turbo goes in. And, dude, I got to tell you, I was cracking up watching Theo's celebration about this. Like, his plan backfires. He does all the things wrong to get out of this. And then he's like, yes!
Lance? Yeah, in your face!
Gotcha!
My plan worked perfectly.
Just how I drew it up, baby. It was so dumb, but it just, I don't know, it was really funny. But this is probably one of the biggest shifts that we've seen in this game in a couple weeks, in that now that upstairs alliance is fucked because they are losing a number. The edge flips back to Olivia, and I feel like this, next episode is going to be very interesting because the entire game shifts from this point forward.
Finally.
Yeah.
Finally, the game shifts. Obviously, Turbo goes in there. How were you feeling looking at them go in? Because I thought that I was pretty confident Turbo and Sydney were the favorites going in.
Before we get to the elimination, I wanted to chat just really briefly about the scene with Nany and Theo when Nany confronts him, calls him out on the antics of the nomination. Again, I think you and I have a different thought on this because I do see where Theo's coming from. Again, I think he went about it in all the wrong ways, but it's effectively, hey, your number one is at risk right now. You have a chance to play a card, save him, and you let him drift into elimination, which Nany actually holds herself accountable to in the confessional, where she says, I could have saved him, but I didn't. And, she's sobbing. She's jumping to the conclusion of, I'm not a bad person. I'm not a terrible person. It's not it. And Theo's not saying that. And he basically is, again, just reiterating, it's not about me helping you. It's about you helping him. And I don't know, bro. Like, I feel Theo's he went about it the wrong ways, but I feel like he's right more than he's wrong.
Yeah, in the end there, he might have had her. But again, if that coin flip had gone the other way, I don't think she would have cared. I think she would have been like, cool, yep, we're good. But because the coin flip went the way that Theo wanted, I think that was where he was able to dig the knife in, and it actually seemed to have an impact because she was very upset for sure.
Yeah.
My big pushback on you is I think that Nany is able to function clearly even when she is upset like that. Like, I think that when she's crying and being emotional, I don't think that clouds her decision-making ability as much as you would hope. We'll see in the next couple episodes how she votes.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see if Theo's able to get in her head. But I don't know. I don't think that the crying and the feeling bad would actually influence her vote when it mattered. I think she would still make the same vote.
But I think so. I think it's smart to target her positioning her number one ally and be like, look, at some point this game is going to break down. This is probably the pivotal moment. Do you want to reinforce your faith in your number one ally? This is the person that you want to go to the final with. Have a chance to save him, get him off the board. Send Ashley in against Theo and Adrienne. I don't know. Like, yes, it causes a big fracture with your alliance because they might not trust you. But at the same time, if Theo and Adrienne go home, then I feel like that'll be forgiven. Right? So it's just like, I don't know. I hate harping on this because it's such a small thing, but like, I just feel that Nany's game at the moment is she's playing a weaker game, playing a bit of a weak game. But I guess everybody in that alliance is. Yeah.
The thing is I feel like they've had such a dominance.
Yeah.
In the sense of they haven't really even had to strategize. You know what I mean?
It's just send Theo in.
It's like, yeah, we're good. We know what we're doing. No one can fight us. So they've been playing catch up with the strategies because the other team is having to strategize. That's the only way they can even possibly survive. And they wouldn't had Theo not just gone toe-to-toe and beat everybody. They would have been totally decimated at this point.
Yeah.
But because he was somehow able to do that, it's balanced this out. But it feels reactionary. It feels like their strategy is simply to react to the other team's gameplay. So we'll see how that formulates. But that's not going to fly anymore once the teams are actually toe-to-toe, which is kind of the case now, right? So now that we've evened this out through a lot of luck on Theo's side, right? Because it's coin flip went their way. You know, he's able to win 3 challenges.
Getting Michaela in a winning position, Ashley and Leo in a losing position to take those votes off the board. Yeah.
Right? Like, all that is that's super lucky for them. So they're going to have to actually start strategizing, but for now it's been reactionary. So I do agree with you for sure that, yeah, their gameplay just hasn't been as good.
All right, let's take it to the elimination. Right before we head out to the arena, Jake appears as a Force Ghost once again and gives Leo a little pep talk outside. Again, just appears, and is like, mate, I love you. You could do so good.
You're doing great, mate.
You got this, mate. No worries.
You're going to
Leo,
I'm just looking really proud of you.
I love you, mate. That'd be so amazing. But okay, so we head to the arena. The elimination is called Wake Me Up. Basically, one person is a runner. They have to run outside the arena, pick up 35 cannonballs one by one, bring them back, put them on this like wheel that's going to raise the other partner who will be grabbing these puzzle pieces on the way up. The final cannonball brings your partner back down, and then you must complete the puzzle that the partner's been grabbing the entire way up the rock wall. So the runners, Leo and Turbo, and the people going up the wall is Sydney and Ashley. Not really, I would say, surprising in that regard, but Turbo's sick, bro. Like, he is not hiding the fact that he's on one wheel at the moment.
Yeah, but depending on the type of sickness, I mean, it's not going to really impact your ability to dig deep. And I thought that I don't see Turbo as this like sprinter type, but he's a grinder.
Endurance guy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not even just the endurance. Like, I think that he can really get his heart rate up and keep it there mentally, you know, and just dig deep and make it happen. And that is really tough in challenges like that. That's kind of the whole challenge, where it's not just purely a, you know, aerobic fitness challenge. It's going to be a lot more mental because it's a race. You know, you are doing it as fast as possible. And his opponent, younger guy, new, his first season, on paper, he should be physically better. But I just don't think that he had that, like, dig deep, really, really try to win aspect as much as Turbo did.
Well, it's tough because here's my thoughts on this elimination. Leo was ahead of Turbo. He was one cannonball up and maintained that for the entirety of that section of the elimination. I actually was pretty impressed by what Leo was able to do. Maybe if Turbo was healthy, that would have looked a bit different. But, like, Leo stepped up to the plate, delivered what he needed to deliver. Ashley comes down and thinks she's got it, thinks that she has this puzzle done before she even touches the sand, and fucks it up. Completely messes up. And then Turbo catches up.
By the way, I just meant that Leo should have blown him out of the water because he's so ill. And he didn't.
Oh. Maybe, yeah. Maybe he should have been 3 cannonballs ahead instead of the one.
That's fair. Is not a big lead at all, right? But still, I thought that this was actually like the perfect example of what that team has been the whole season. What did you think? Because for me,
I thought it was
Ashley being overconfident, thinking she's like the queen bee and that she's got this, and then fucking it up and not giving her teammate enough credit was like the perfect example of the whole season.
And I would almost say less so of that team or Leo, just more so Ashley. Ashley this season is someone who, like, quickly has attacked her partner very quickly when things start to go wrong, doesn't really take much accountability. And I will say, again, I gave her credit a little earlier about how she was like, oh, I'm the one fucking up. But it hasn't been as, I would say, self-aware as she needs to be, because the instances and scenes of her just berating her fucking partner, blaming them, throwing them into the trash can is frustrating. And now when it matters the most, and she's got this reputation. Again, everybody loves to remind us when we criticize Ashley, she's this, she's that, she's Millionaire Mitchell. Well, she completely fucked up in this elimination and sent her and Leo home. And that's unquestionable. You simply can't cut this cake any other way. They had the lead. She was super confident before she even hit the ground. Couldn't get it done. Turbo, funnily enough, figures out that every side needs to be 11, and then Turbo and Sydney win pretty much instantly after that. And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like, maybe you have a different take on this, but I feel like Leo and Ashley lost more than Sydney and Turbo won, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's like a valid point. I don't think I have too much to add to that, though, to be honest.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it was a pretty complete thought.
I agree.
We will not be doing that.
Adrienne, great points. I'm voting for you.
No.
I hope that the next few episodes just have Yammy doing nothing in the episode, and then just the night out, a scene of him being like,
Yeah,
I don't think so. Did you? But yeah, so I will say, regardless of Turbo and Sydney winning or Ashley and Leo winning, the Upstairs Alliance takes a hit. And for me, this is probably the most interesting point that we've had in a couple weeks because, granted, it does depend on who comes in first and who comes in last, but this is the opportunity that Theo and Adrienne and this Downstairs Alliance has been fucking praying for a month now.
Yeah, they're foaming at the mouth for this opportunity. I mean, finally now, the tides have turned. I believe it's a full 3-3, correct?
I think that it's, again, it really depends on who comes in first and who comes in last, because I think that the Upstairs Alliance does still have an advantage-ish. But if we get the same scenario where Michaela wins another daily and then one of their members comes in last, I think the Downstairs Alliance has the voting advantage.
Yeah, yes, they do. But I think that as we move forward, the Downstairs Alliance, the Upstairs Alliance has had the guy in the bottom every time because it's been humongous, right? It's this massive alliance. So statistically, they're more likely to have someone in the bottom. But now the reality is the Downstairs Alliance just has not been in the top very often.
Yeah.
They've never really been safe. I've never seen any of their members safe. It's just been Theo and Adrienne just standing on their head in the elimination chamber. So I think as we move forward, it's probably more likely that the Downstairs Alliance starts having people in the bottom, right? It's like Olivia and Will, like, really how impactful have they been? Not that impactful. So it's not going to be some shocker to me if they end up in the bottom.
That's fair. Yeah, if they come last, it wouldn't surprise me too much.
That shakes up the whole thing because now the Upstairs Alliance is back into this big position of advantage.
I mean, here's the thing. They have struggled in the dailies, but they haven't really been coming in last too much. I think that is fair to know. Like,
I'm just saying, I think that the people that have been coming in last have been the objectively weaker teams.
Yeah.
And they just so happen to be part of the Upstairs Alliance.
Yeah. And again, I don't know if, like, I feel like Olivia and Will they should be a strong team. I feel on paper they both have great attributes. It's just really they cannot work well whatsoever at all. And again, I don't, not to reiterate to an earlier point, but like, is it time maybe to try and stake a claim for Olivia and switch this up? Because, like you said, it's, It
is. Because, again, her team is not going into the final and winning.
Yeah.
Straight up. She straight up is not. Her and Turbo probably could.
Yeah.
Because I firmly believe that Turbo cares more about winning than he does about specifically who he's with. I don't think he would fuck himself over if to not play well with Olivia. I think he would just be like, okay, well, this is the card I'm dealt, And so
And then you create a rookie team in Sydney and Will, and then boom again, big target on them. You get insulation.
But more than that, Will doesn't realize it. Will is fucking himself over right now.
Yeah.
By just refusing to team up with his team player. Dude, you guys are a team. Act like it, you know?
Yeah,
like,
try.
Let's go, right? Whereas he's upsetty, spaghetti, oh, my teammate, oh. You know, the second I start hearing that, I'm like, it's over, you know? Like, this is your teammate. Dig deep, you know, find each other's strengths, do that. Whenever they're crying about it the whole time, I'm like, you're stabbing yourself in the back. The only person that you're screwing over is you right now.
And especially, like, the alternative for Will is nothing. I think it's pretty clear that he's kind of on an island at the moment, and the girl he's hooking up with instantly in a nomination has no issue being like, oh, let's vote Will and Olivia in. That's the person that you've been hooking up with, and she, like, doesn't have any hesitation about putting your name in the sand. So for Will, I feel he's really lost a lot of his allies, lost a lot of his friends, and so, or not friends, but, like, again, his people that are going to be on his side in the social and political game. And for him to, again, refuse to just try and work it out with Olivia is just like, yeah, like you said, shooting himself in the foot. And to be fair, if I was going to pick out of a police lineup somebody who would probably shoot themselves in the foot, it would be Will. You know? I love the guy, but I'm
100%.
You know,
he's so emotional. He's so emotional.
So, but okay. Any last sort of thoughts on it? I think this is episode 14. Any other final words?
No, I'm happy with that.
All right, thanks, guys. Make sure you like.
We've communicated everything that the fans need to know.
Yeah,
we've delivered the information. Please like the video now, please.
Please fucking like it. We need you guys to like the fucking video. And I bet we're not going to get a single hate comment for all of our criticism towards Ashley. But okay, thanks guys for watching. Again, make sure you comment, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll be back next week for more Challenge Season 41, bets and new threats.
Thanks, everybody.